the reason I suppose want to have a chat is you've made so much progress over this year that I really want to capture the progress, let others see what can happen when you dedicate time to working on the mind, right?
Yeah, yeah,
As I always say, whenever, when a lot of the material I put out, when you change your mind, you can change your life. And I think that's really why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because there's so many examples of, the changes in your life from the change you've made to your mind, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I suppose bringing it right back, before we started, what was it that made you reach out?
Well, like my life was good, you know. I was I had a good job. I was just after getting engaged, great family, friends, I had good hobbies, but I did know that I had social anxiety, that it was holding me back. Um, wasn't getting as much out of like social events as I should be. It was just that limiting on me. And I kind of molded my life then around it to adjust, well, just to make life easier and less anxious for me. Turn down social events, maybe staying quiet in groups, even to the point where I was turning down promotions in work so that I wouldn't have to maybe host meetings or do public speaking. But I had my life nearly molded around where I was able to hide from it, and I had the persona of that everything was going great and that I was strong and I was confident because I had all these safety techniques to protect me from my anxiety. Then I got engaged, which like I was delighted with and so happy with. But the thoughts of my wedding and being the center of attention for a day, having to stand up in front of 250 people or whatever, it was crippling really. I was terrified of it. So then I came across you on Instagram. I said, there's a man now that can help me.
Yeah, I remember when you reached out. Obviously, the wedding was front of mind, right, and the speech, being able to get up there and make the speech. But when we actually started working together, there was obviously, as you said there was a lot more. You had these coping mechanisms to avoid certain situations and avoid that anxiety building into a sense of panic and so on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What was it like for you when you thought about the wedding at that time?
It was just the fear of it and the fear of being center of attention and the fear of being judged or if things don't go right or if I slip up or make a fool of myself, what will people think of me? That perfectionist mindset that I had as well, where everything had to go well and I had to be in control of everything. Um, and like the speech was the pinnacle of that then. The speech was the pinnacle of my fears of the day. Like, geez, how am I going to stand up in front of 250 people? What if I make a mistake? What if this? What if that? What if I forget what I'm going to say? That fear of being judged and wanting to be perfect.
And then in the lead up to the wedding itself, we did a very specific hypnosis called a reframe. And talk to me about that. How did you find that?
Yeah, so we had it broken down. I think we kind of started maybe the week of the wedding, was it? We'd broken down into each step as the week progressed, what I'd be doing, how I'd be feeling, how I wanted it to go. So you asked me these questions, and I answered them in as much detail as I could, um, right up to right up to the night before the wedding. What would I be thinking? How would I be feeling? And then into the wedding day, physically,
What
what
would
would I
you
be
be
doing at
doing?
each stage? Yeah,
Yeah.
what would I be doing at each stage? Right up to the wedding speech. And once we got to the wedding speech, it was actually really detailed, wasn't it, Joe? It was I get handed the mic, I step up off my seat, I push in my seat, I leave my speech down on the table. And we had it broken down in such fine detail that, and I listened back to it so many times, and it was just like, it was just automatic. The whole day then felt like I wasn't planning, I wasn't having to think ahead. I was just in the moment the whole time. And I really, really felt the power of it when I got handed the mic. When I got handed the mic, it was almost like a trigger to me, where it was just boom, I got handed the mic. And it's just like I got into this flow state where it felt like I'd just done 1,000 times. Because I had not 1,000 times now, but I had probably listened to it, I don't know, 50, 60 times, I'm not sure. Before working with you, when I used to think about the church part, I was there. all these people are looking at me, this big crowd behind me. Uh, what if I mess up this or mess up that? But honestly, when I was during the ceremony, it was just me and Eva and the priest. That was it. And that was something we'd worked on as well. I didn't even think about anyone else being in there in the room. And so yeah, that was amazing. On
It's,
then to on then to the hotel, I just felt like even during all the photos and that, I was just a new man. I was just so happy to be there, just in a completely different mindset to where I would have been 6 months before.
super.
Um,
And then after you delivered the speech, uh, how were you? How was it? Something that you've been dreading for so long.
yeah, no, I've never done like a bungee jump or done anything like that, but I imagine that's what it feels like. You know, that adrenaline you get, that buzz of doing something that you dreaded for so long. And like, because I said it to you, I even texted you the next morning, something was the day I was dreading most in my life ended up being the best day of my life. And just that, I know, that sense of achievement and something that you were so fearful of, and then to do so well and have people like it wasn't even that I just got through it or just like people were complimenting me on how good I was and how good my speech was. But yeah, it was a huge achievement for me.
So after the wedding, when after the 12 weeks as well, after the program, how are you? What did that do for you personally?
My mindset before doing the 12-week program was so set. Like I was there, this is the way I am. This is the way I am. I'm just not cut out for this. I'm just not cut out for public speaking. I'm just not cut out maybe for a managerial role because I don't want to host meetings or I don't want to be the one having to public speak or address people every day. So I was of that mindset that, yeah, this is who I am. There's other people who are cut out to do those things, and it's just not me. And after the 12-week program, or even during it, to realize that your mind is so adaptable and the importance of having a growth mindset, of knowing that there's nothing set. You can change. It might take you a little bit more work maybe than somebody else, but that your mind is so adaptable. I often say to you that I used to always say, "Oh, I can't do that," or "I can't public speak," or "I can't stand up in front of a group." Whereas then I put the word "yet" after those lines. So I'm saying, "I can't do that yet," which gives you that mentality of, "Yeah, maybe I'm not able to do it at the moment, but I can, and I know it is something I can achieve, or that you can change."
What made you decide to go into the self leadership group at the time?
It was kind of I'd seen how much I had developed during the 12 week. And the 12-week program gave me a great insight into how the mind works and what was limiting me and what was holding me back. And then to see that the progress I could make and the how much I'd come on in this, like 12 weeks is a short period of time. To see how much I developed, that I was just so excited to see how much further I could go. Yeah, I just felt it would have been a shame to stop there, you know.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to stay driving on and building that momentum.
And moving from, starting up in the self leadership group, what was that like for you initially, the self leadership group, and what did you find the difference was between the 12 weeks? Where did you see the progress from there?
Particularly for us, the wedding was the pinnacle. That's where we were. That was where we were aiming for. Was to get to that wedding, enjoy that day and everything. That was our goal. But then joining the self leadership group, it was more of a almost more like coaching for life after that. It wasn't just with one specific goal in mind. It was to develop really my whole self because I knew straight away after joining it, it gave me that clarity or that insight into who I actually am. And probably didn't realize until then that how maybe lost I was in a way, or I was only kind of treading water. I didn't really know what my purpose in life was or what my values were. And it was in the self leadership group that I learned all that, and it gives you great direction.
Finally, I suppose someone who's nearing the end of the 12-week program, right, and considering going into the self leadership group, stepping up, discovering values, all that you've talked about there, what would you say to them?
It's so empowering to be part of a group even with the other lads in the group, not just yourself, you can gain so much strength in that from the other guys. Seeing guys that are maybe different in ways, but in similar situations to yourself or had similar struggles and have gotten over them and that are wanting to develop themselves or wanting to better themselves the same as you. Um, I think you learn really powerful tools and getting to know yourself, getting to know what drives you, what makes you tick. It makes your life way more purposeful and gives you all the tools you need to achieve that. So yeah, I really recommend it to anyone who's on the fence on it to just
And
go for it.
I'm conscious of your time as well. Thank you very much for that. Really
No
appreciate it.
matter at all.
And yeah,
And
long
I
may your
suppose,
progress continue. And
yeah, and just while we have it and being recorded, I want to thank you for everything you've done for me. Um, yeah, it's been huge. And thank you very much.
appreciate that, Holly. Thank you.